When you think of action animation studios, you'd probably think of studios like Ufotable or MAPPA, because of the insane and fluid animation that they make their name with. MAPPA's current cash cow is quickly becoming the new hype shonen anime of the 2020s, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Ufotable is continuing to try their hardest to give us a boner with their continued work in Demon Slayer. These studios pioneered new and creative styles of animation in the realm of action or fantasy shows, Ufotable being the first to fluidly match CG animation with traditional hand-drawn stylisms, and MAPPA being the first to be MAPPA. But maybe because of my love of dark horses or just my hard-headed determination to not follow the crowd, but I don't want to talk about either of those studios today. Everyone knows how great these studios are, and if I were to just make a video affirming that, there'd be no point to it. However, one studio that I feel doesn't get as much attention for its great work is A-1 Pictures. A-1 Pictures is by no means thought of as a bad studio. They have a bunch of different great series under their belt. And 7 Deadly Sins. And before you start getting mad at me for that jab, I'm a 7 Deadly Sins fan too. I can make fun of them. I spent 30 hours making a 40-second 7 Deadly Sins AMV for my first video. I can point and laugh at my own people. But yeah, A-1 Pictures has some amazing works, like Kaguya-sama, Your Lie in April, and the first half of Erased. But if you noticed, all of these series are romance mystery things. And they're very, very well done and widely acclaimed as such, but one thing they need more recognition for is their action anime. A-1 Pictures did 2 big series that I want to talk about today, and both of them are pretty damn controversial, so I'm 100% sure that I'm gonna get a ton of hate for this, but fuck it, these are my opinions and I will stand by them. I don't care if I get burned in effigy for this. And the first of these series that I want to talk about, and stick with me here, is Sword Art Online. And I know how much this is gonna get memed on, but just stick with me here, okay? Sword Art Online is actually good again, and I'll be making a full-length video on this topic sometime in the future, but for now I just want to talk briefly about it. So Sword Art Online as a whole is pretty damn trashy. I think no one would ever argue with me in saying that the second half of Season 1 is a literal clusterfuck with no redeeming elements besides the main character being pinned to the floor and physically and emotionally tortured while being NTR'd. And Sting doesn't go much better in Season 2 of the series, which tries its best to capture some of the best aspects of the first season to little avail. It doesn't do much else besides expanding the main character's already growing harem and turning him into a girl. And no, I'm not joking, and yes, you heard that right. Kirito can pick up chicks even when he is a chick. He literally turns them gay just to be with him. I really ironically love this series for the amount of stupid shit it does, but yeah, after a lifetime of chasing after the glory of its youth, Sword Art Online finally strikes gold again with Season 3. But to understand what makes Season 3 so great, we first have to understand what made the first half of Season 1 so great, and what made the second half and Season 2 so actually awful. The main appeal for SAO Season 1 is the premise. The idea of being trapped in a game is a very cliche idea now, with all of the spin-offs and whatnot, but back then this was revolutionary. The world was wide and terrifying and promised so much intrigue. And then the show abandoned all of that intrigue for a badly paced mid-as-fuck romance story between 2 people with the combined personality of a block of tofu. Like, irregardless of your feelings on the series as a whole, I think everyone can agree that the concept of the story is actually really damn cool and deserves some praise for its creativity. But sadly, this did not last. The small glimpses of the epic and cool story we almost got buried behind walls of steel and brick, as the mediocrity of the story slowly creeped up. And then after all of that, the Alpha arc started. And I'm sure you guys know how that went. And if you didn't, okay, so this sociopathic son of a bitch made a game to get his love interest, who happens to be 17, stuck in a simulation he created because if he does that, she can't object to marrying him for the money. So Kirito, the best black swordsman, don't at me, has to go into the fucking digital world to save his first love by committing incest. I don't know, I legitimately forgot a lot of the details, but I do know that there was incest in there. And okay, after the incest arc, trademark, is resolved, Kirito goes up to where this borderline pedo is keeping his girlfriend, and then he gets beat up because hacks, and then he beats the pedo up because also hacks. Yeah. So yeah, fun times all around, and after the second half of the first season of SAO, which I'll refer to as the Alpha arc for brevity's sake, stomps all over the first half's grave and takes a photo, Sword Art Online Season 2 walks in to get a few knocks of its own. Sword Art Online Season 2, aka GGO, isn't as aggressively bad as the Alpha arc. However, it doesn't get close to as good as the Aincrad arc, which is the good part of Season 1. So GGO is about a different game that's also killing people, but this time in a different way. GGO, unlike the previous 2 VR games before it, is an FPS. And like, that's kinda cool I guess, cause it takes our main character who was goated on the sticks when he was using the sword, and shoves him in an environment where he doesn't have a sword. And the idea of a show being centered on gun-based action is pretty cool. Oh, okay, wait, they have swords again. Wow, okay, that's fine. Oh look, it's my first OC. Okay, so keeping up with the weird stuff from the first season, people start mysteriously dying in the world of GGO, when they get killed by this one character named Deathgun. And I know I just made this joke, but he's literally an OC. The name, the skull face, the fucking insane sword, just all of it screams I'm edgy and that's cool. But moving on, any player who's killed by Deathgun in the game dies in real life. And so our boy Kirito has to put a pause on his harem for a second and go into the game to try and uncover what's happening. But seriously though, why does the government keep on going to Kirito for this shit? He's just some sweaty gamer with a god complex. And I'm just gonna shut up now because I realized I'm literally just describing myself. So after he goes into the game, he meets Simon, Sinon. Yeah, no, I legitimately don't care anymore. Let's just call her by her username. XX Sniper Girl XX. Wow, what a creative one. And yes, for all of you who are thinking, wow, that sounds like my username. That was sarcasm. Okay, so after Kirito over here meets Blue Raspberry Chick, they go around trying to kill Death Gun for reasons. Probably to stop him from killing people, but I don't know. Okay, look, it's been years since I watched GGO. I'm not putting myself through that again for this stupid video. Anyways, the moral here is that they find why Death Gun is Death Gunning and they stop him, and then the story devolves into structureless madness and someone has cancer now? I feel like I'm missing steps here, but no, that's definitely the plot. So if you were paying attention to this video, you may have noticed that all of these stories have some general similarities, getting trapped or getting killed because of the game. And while I can't say it succeeded, SAO did maintain a legacy of going through with at least somewhat interesting stories of technology from the future, and also the Alphi mark. But none of what they did could ever capture the initial buzz and excitement over the series. Until now, baby, hell yeah! Okay, so SAO Season 3, Alicization, and the SAO movie Ordinal Scale are actually insanely good, and probably the best the series has been in a while, and I'm tired of pretending otherwise, okay? Like, it still has some of its trademark harem bait and some, interesting directorial choices, but overall the show is still very solid. But I don't think going in-depth on why those series are so great is a good choice for this video. So for now, I just want to pinpoint one particular detail that I think makes this show stand out. The action. A1 Pictures has always had a very distinct brand of action. It has a very noticeable flavor of insanity, and I love it for that. The action may be a bit harder to follow than, say, series like JJK or Demon Slayer, but I honestly really love the style and flair A1 Pictures brings to the table with their balls-to-the-walls choreography and fast, snappy movements that just gets the adrenaline pumping, you know? A1 Pictures' style is usually very noticeable for its flow and pace, as well as for the constant barrage of beautiful particle and light effects. I've seen some complaints about this online, but like, honestly, what can you say? It's just very, very pretty. And last thing. Okay, this may sound very weird to a lot of you, but here we go. One of my favorite aspects of A1 Pictures fight scenes is the sound effects. And they're the best things I've ever heard in my life. And before you knock it, just here, listen to this quick snippet of a fight scene and enjoy it. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know why it's so good, but all the sound effects are just so damn crunchy and amazing, and I love them so much, so don't you dare critique them or I'll hurt you. Okay, so I said I had two controversial takes, and the SAO one was pretty bad, but this one may just be worse. Fate Apocrypha is actually amazing, okay? Fate is a pretty popular franchise. It has a lot of installments, like a lot of installments, and it's actually insane how many there are. And for most of the adaptations, they're done by Ufotable, and those series are usually acclaimed as the best Fate media, but I'm just gonna say it, Fate Apocrypha deserves that title too. For some reason, Fate Apocrypha was done by A1 Pictures instead of Ufotable, and I won't compare the series too much because I think they're going for different things here. And in terms of story, I do think Ufotable's adaptations have the edge, but in terms of sheer fun, A1 Pictures does just as good. First off, Apocrypha is just a really well thought out series. Like, everyone memes on the Fate franchise for their weird lore, but honestly, if you just watch Apocrypha and nothing else, you still won't be too confused. It's just people summoning heroes from the past to fight in a battle royale to see who gets the chance to get their wish granted. Nothing more complicated, right? Right? Please, please, for the love of God, stop trying to explain the Fate lore to me. I genuinely don't want to hear it. Every single waking moment of my life I spend trying to think about this mess. I don't want to talk about it. No, please don't make me. Okay, I'm fine. Skipping over the lore, let's talk some action. So Ufotable is really made for the name for themselves with things like Demon Slayer and the other Fate stuff, because of their really cool choreography and insane use of dynamic camera angles. Their fights always feel fluid and gorgeous and capture the skill of the fighters in play. Yeah, Fate Apocrypha just doesn't try to do that. Anime fights can go either one of two ways in my opinion. Either they can be really reliant on Sakuga and special effects, and like supernatural abilities and stuff, or they can be very technical. And while I think Ufotable goes for the technical side of things and does it amazingly, A1 Pictures goes for the balls to the walls, big explosions and huge lasers kind of fights. And I mean, there are some kind of technical fights in there here and there, but I'm trying to make a point, okay? The spectacle fights in the series are top tier. Lots of flashing lights and cool looking animations and those amazing sound effects. And in doing so, it elevates the entire series to another level entirely. While it's true that the fight scenes and animations aren't everything, they can do a lot to elevate a series above its previous highs, and that's exactly what Apocrypha does. The series even starts out with a large-scale fight just to let you know what you're getting into with the whole series, and giving you a taste of the wonderful scenes coming up ahead. Hey guys, thanks again for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and share this video as much as you can. I don't really have a big long-winded outro this time. I just really wanted to talk about this series because I'm using Apocrypha in my AMV. Oh yeah, and speaking of that, next week's upload should be that AMV. I know I talked about this before, but I can't bring myself to care anymore. I've tried so many things to make these cool effects that I'm using work, but they just seem really awkward and they don't really fit with the tone of the AMV, so I may just stick with like the hard cutting style of just moving from action beat to action beat without any transitions or slides and effects on those things. But yeah, I was watching some of the fight scenes in Apocrypha because I had to for research and stuff, and I realized that some of them were really, really cool, but no one seems to talk about them, so I just kind of wanted to spread the message, you know? But yeah, thanks for watching again, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye!